Hello, welcome back to From Soft Serve. Today we find ourselves in the Valley of the Drakes. For a pretty simple reason, I was working on making the distant version of Undead Burg basically better, because of course they were using a low poly facsimile of it, as they commonly were. It was a pretty good fake, honestly. It wasn't terrible, but of course I was like, well, it could be better, right? So that right there is the aqueduct that you take from Firelink Shrine. From what I loaded in, yeah, it's actually a Firelink Shrine model. And you'll see, unfortunately, the Undead Burg, Undead Parish sort of beginning thing kind of floating up there. Yeah, and then there's the bridge up there. Let's back up a little bit more. And, all right, got some grass in our way. Yeah, so it's pretty bright little sky as well. And actually, this used to look, well, previous to a change I made about 10 minutes ago, this looked pretty much like the Undead Burg lighting. And there's a very specific reason for that, and that to make the distant things show up, essentially, the distant meshes from other maps look correct, I basically have to copy over manually the lighting settings from Undead Burg, or from whatever map that I'm taking them from. But commonly it's because Undead Burg is sort of the nexus of all of these locations. It's sort of the one that, it's really like the hub, right? It's more the hub than Firelink Shrine is, right? And, oh yeah, let me get the Thief Mask. I love this armor set. And so I basically have to copy them over manually, field by field, and then set that, because they don't share a draw param. So unfortunately, you have to, yeah, basically do it manually. And then that way they all look, no matter what map they're loading from, they're going to look correct. And that's key, because that's the big issue I've run into, where they basically, like, if the fog setting is different, it looks like trash. If anything is different, it looks like trash. And I was thinking about it incorrectly. And so now I figured it out. Basically, match all of the lighting settings, and that way they will look correct from wherever you look at them from. But the collisions, like the actual thing that keeps my player from falling through the ground here, or the geometry, and you can change lighting settings based upon which collision that you're on. Which right now I think I'm on 53, and then I think there's like 52, and then there's 50, I think, that way. And so they have a lot of different ones based upon where you're at in the game world, which is great. And then there's a collision that stops right before you get into New Londo, as you would assume, right? And I am using those to alter the tone correct, which tone correct is sort of like your highest level color alterations of the brightness for the RGB values and the saturation and the hue. And that's basically where you can set, like, okay, I want to change the brightness of the red channel. And so here, this used to look like Undead Burg lighting like 10 minutes ago. But I went in very quickly and I changed the tone correct. I created a new tone correct ID, which was 11. And I basically was like, all right, let's pump up the blue and the green. Let's lower the red. And let's get a little bit closer to what the Valley of the Drakes look like. Because I do want to keep that in mind, right? I didn't want to lose the unique look of it. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here, is matching the two. Also, you can see like the scaffolding right up there where my head is. Yeah, there's a little bit of grass kind of hitting it. I could add a little bit more grass out here too, I think, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, so that's the benefit of putting in like the real Undead Burg maps, is I get the real like scaffolding, and there's a lot of extra detail that, of course, the previous fake, which didn't have, right? And oh, also, I forgot to mention that I need to update the mod like super fast after I'm done recording this, because I somehow fucked up, and the Valley of the Drakes is odd that this mountain, basically cavern here, is like one giant map piece. It's literally map piece 00000, B0. And I somehow had modified, I guess, the draw settings for it, the draw group settings. And so when I walked out from Firelink Shrine for the first time to sort of modify Valley of the Drakes yesterday, yeah, nothing loaded. I was floating on nothingness. And I was like, oh, son of a bitch. And so now I'm like, oh, God. I think my current version of the mod, you're just floating in Valley of the Drakes. So that's a problem. So I'm going to upload a new version that has all the changes. So one question I did have for the FromSoft servants is what do you think about, like, in this cavern down here? What do you think about water at a certain level? Because obviously there's like water in New Londo up until like it hits a certain point, and then you open the gates, and then water basically settles at a certain level. What if I matched up where the water basically ends up at after you open the gate? Because of course I don't want it to be like too high and then it just stays high even after you open the gate. But then again, you would assume it to become higher out of here. But realistically, the realism is not the whole goal. But I was kind of wondering. I thought this might be a good idea for like a visual upgrade, a little bit of like. I mean, we can keep it a cavern where there's just nothing at the bottom of it. Like that's fine, but I do feel like it's a good candidate for like a little bit of water, nice reflections, But that's just me. But let me know what you think in the comments if I could add water. I don't know. I feel like matching it up to the water level that's inside New Londo after you open the gates could be cool. But let me know. And I tried putting in the undead burg sky, where it has clouds. Because the funny thing is, with Valley of the Drakes, the actual sky is just nothing. There's no clouds. There's nothing. It's literally not a texture. It's not anything. So that's why it kind of looks like this. But when I loaded in the undead burg sky, I it looked like the world was collapsing and like there was a color spectrum, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah, so it's really weird. Don't know what's going on with that. But hopefully, yeah, I will keep working on Valley of the Drakes. Let's see if I can alt-tab into... Yeah, see, I went borderless now, so it doesn't do that black screen bullshit. It's really nice. Also, Valley of the Drakes has this really funny thing where if you notice, there's a giant box surrounding it. I personally have not figured out why this box exists. As I was like, well, okay, like I obviously can't see the box from inside Valley of the Drakes because this is the texture. So, all right. And then it has a very specific draw group setting to not draw. And it's also one of the only map pieces I've ever seen over here to have 255, 255 for light ID and fog ID, which basically tells it to just not do one, which is very rare. I deleted it and I didn't notice a difference. So I don't know. I genuinely don't know what this is for, but I would have to assume this was for something. But yeah, if you look at the sky, literally it's just blank. So I'm gonna try to get the Undead Burg sky to work, or the Firelink Shrine one maybe, because like I want there to be clouds that you look up at, right? And I always found that odd that I don't know. It's just nothingness. So I'll look at that. But I thought this was interesting. That there's a giant box that New Londo comes in for reasons. I also thought about messing with this over here, which I'm assuming this is like Blight Town or something. And it's not really a good reason to do it because you can't really see anything from anywhere in Valley of the Drakes. So I was like, oh, okay. Then yeah, it's not really worth doing. So yeah, there's an aqueduct, and I think the other one, or no, is that not the aqueduct that I was thinking of? Yeah, see, here's the stairway, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, really cool to pull in stuff from other maps. But yeah, as you'll see here, like here's the little plank of wood that you go across. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's the water inside. It actually, it kind of comes outside a little bit. Uh-oh, I didn't notice that. All right, interesting. But yeah, like here's the narrow view that you have through here, but I don't think as the player, like I try to visualize like so there's no reason to really like do anything with this because you can't see anything anyway. So that's one of the you have to pick your battles, and that's one where like the fake is pretty decent and there's no good reason. Oh my god, borderless is I'm such an idiot. I don't know why I didn't go to borderless like way earlier. Sorry for all the black screens. Future videos will no longer have the black screen swapping. There is another thing to show in the video. Not like big updates or anything. Oh, I was in Ulasil. Ulasil still looks good. I gotta go back and I gotta update this a little bit more, but like it kind of looks weird at the top there. The Coliseum just is a fucking hot mess of like 6 things glued together. It's terrible. I hate it. Let's go to Undead Parish. Because Darkroot Garden, as you know, went from Darkroot Garden to Brightroot Garden to Darkroot Garden to semi-Brightroot Garden back to actual Brightroot Garden. And now it's back to kind of Darkroot Garden. Because I'm using, once again... Yeah, also I get frame drops right here. I don't really know why. It's kind of weird. I can actually hear my graphics card go, oh shit. So, really weird. I had someone else report that too, and I was like, ooh, all right. Interesting. I don't know why that is. But I have not done an optimization pass at all on this mod. So that's, kind of going to be later. But yeah, as you can see, it looks, darker. I was once again using just the tone correct setting. And so this all still matches up perfectly to Undead Burg, so Undead Burg does not look weird, well, except for that mesh being fucking awful, but don't look at that. But yeah, like Distant Undead Burg looks cool, we love to see it. But yeah, once again, it's dark and spooky, but not exactly the same, color settings, but it is darker. And you still can see the shadows, which is, obviously my goal. And it's still foggy, and there's some issues still of like distant. Yeah, there's like distant clouds over there that look really fucking weird. I gotta look at that because I put the Darkroot Garden sky back that has like all the clouds, and I got rid of the Undead Burg one. But yeah, you can see in the distance there's an issue there. Also, I gotta move the Artorias Coliseum. It should be. Oh, okay. That's the bonfire getting darker because there's an enemy near. Oh shit! Uh-oh, what the fuck did I do? Oh, what the hell? Oh shit! Oh man, you noticed some weird shit. Oh, that. Ooh, all right. That looks nasty. Oh shit! I think I might know what that is. I was doing a texture upscaling on clouds, and I think I may have bungled it. You never know with the textures in DS1. You can upscale them exactly the same way as you upscaled everything else. And then it just decides that, like, no, that's going to look like ass. And you're like, well, okay, great, cool, thanks. Well, I'll fix that. I know where that's bgcloud.dds or whatever. Okay, well, duly noted that didn't really work. It's either that or there's some other setting that is fucking that up. But yeah, Darkroot Garden is kind of dark again. It's kind of a middle ground between the two, but it's dark and spooky again. So I might need to boost the blue value just a bit. I think it's very green, which I mean it is a Darkroot. It's a garden, it's a forest, so. The green certainly makes sense, but I guess let me know in the comments if you think the blue value should be boosted, maybe just a bit. Because I think right now the red value is pretty good. It's you don't see a lot of red going on, which is what you saw in the Brightroot Garden, because it was Undead Burg, right? But yeah, so small updates, little tweaks here and there, nothing major. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, this little tiny look. And yeah, maybe subscribe if you haven't already. We've had a lot of new subscribers. I post mostly daily, sometimes small updates, sometimes big updates. Little progress, little Dark Souls ASMR videos. And I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you watching. Maybe like the video if you would. It helps a lot, and it sends it out to more FromSoft homies. And that means they get to see these weird, like, glitchy rave clouds. And I feel like they might want to see that. So I think that's actually a holdover from when I put the sky back. Maybe I just didn't notice. But yeah, maybe share the video if you have Dark Souls nerds that love this. So thank you for watching. Praise the sun, and I will see you on the next video.